Hello! I maintained a meaningless relationship with a woman much older than me, knowing full well that there was no future and that I was not in love with her. I sacrificed myself just because she felt happy, and I did everything just for her because she wanted it. Over time, she started giving me money that I didn't accept, but she insisted, and it was very clear to me that it was purposeful. I took it, but I always put it into things that I could diversify her with, such as vacations and visits to other destinations. At one point, she started to become domineering and jealous of me, which I decided to end, but she continues to blackmail me and set conditions that if I don't continue with her, she will sue, she will call me a cheater, an idiot, a user. Please advise. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing such a personal and difficult situation. What you're describing is a deeply stressful and confusing experience. It's a classic case of emotional entanglement, where good intentions have somehow twisted into feelings of guilt and obligation. So let's untangle this together and bring some clarity to what's happening.
First, let's just establish a clear foundation based on the facts. Before we get into the emotional storm, it's absolutely essential to understand the reality of the situation. This is going to help you see that your position is much stronger than you might feel it is right now.
Okay, let's look at these points to really separate the facts from the feelings. The relationship was consensual. The money, which you were hesitant to accept in the first place, was used for shared experiences. That right there counters any narrative of exploitation. You haven't broken any laws. And, most importantly, you are never obligated to stay in a relationship, especially one that has become controlling. These facts are your anchor.
Now, let's put a name to the tactics you're being subjected to. Understanding the dynamics of emotional blackmail is really the first step toward disarming its power over you.
The term for this is emotional violence. It's a clinical, objective term. This isn't about a simple disagreement or hurt feelings. This is a deliberate method of control. The goal is to use threats, accusations, and manipulation to make you feel fear, guilt, or obligation, forcing you to do something you don't want to do. In this case, stay in the relationship.
And this isn't some abstract theory. This is what emotional violence sounds like in practice. The threat of lawsuits, the name-calling, these aren't the words of someone seeking a resolution. They are calculated tactics designed to destabilize you and regain control.
It is so important to understand that these threats are almost certainly empty. Their power doesn't lie in any legal reality, but in their ability to generate fear and self-doubt. Recognizing them for what they are, tools of control, not legitimate dangers, is how you start taking your power back.
So once we've identified the problem and deconstructed the threats, it's time to build a strategy. This next part is all about clear, practical steps you can take to protect yourself and create the distance you need to move forward.
Here is your 4-step plan. 1. Create calm distance. This breaks the cycle. 2. If you must communicate, keep it in writing. This creates a factual record and removes the emotional fuel that these situations thrive on. 3. Document everything. Save the messages, save the emails. This is your insurance policy. And finally, and this is the hardest part, do not engage with the manipulation. Any emotional reaction, whether it's anger or guilt, is a win for the person trying to control you. A calm, neutral, firm stance is your shield.
Now, following a practical plan is essential, but the emotional recovery is just as vital. Extricating yourself from a manipulative situation can leave you feeling isolated and full of self-doubt. You do not have to go through this alone.
This is where support comes in. Talking to a trusted friend, or even better, a professional counselor, can be incredibly validating. It provides an outside perspective that helps you process the residual guilt and reinforces the fact that your feelings are valid and your decision to leave is the right one. This is a critical step in healing.
And let this be the final takeaway from our analysis today. Let's be absolutely clear. Based on the facts, you are not a cheater. You are not a user. And you are absolutely, under no circumstances, obligated to endure emotional violence. Your well-being comes first. This experience raises a critical question for all of our relationships. How do we learn to proactively set healthy boundaries so we don't find ourselves in a position where we're forced to defend them?